Hello, everybody. How are you doing today? My name is Tony Rizano, and you are listening to another episode of the world famous University Love, the best podcast in one, two, three galaxies. One, two, three galaxies. So, ladies and gentlemen, you and I, we just call this show Online Marketing Moves. We are coming to you live today. Today is Monday, January 20th, 2025. Ladies and gentlemen, it is Happy MLK Day. It is the day of the inauguration. We have a new president, and we have an old and new president at the same time. It's amazing. Okay? Uh, but we have a very lively show. We have a very lively show for you today. A very jam-packed show. Ladies and gentlemen, we will be doing an episode every day this week. So we are going to come to you Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And just to catch you up one day. Okay? Ladies and gentlemen, today we are going to talk about something very important. I was listening to a book. Let me get this book. Let me make sure that I have this right for you, ladies and gentlemen, because I appreciate you. And so, ladies and gentlemen, this weekend I listened to a book. As I told you before, I listened to a book about uh, Lyndon Johnson. It was a very good book. The first book was The Path of Power. There are 3 books. Okay? And the author is Robert Caro, and the first book is The Path to Power. And it just talks about Lyndon Johnson trying to, growing up, going to college, becoming a teacher, blah 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 blah. The second book was called The Means of Ascent, and what this book is about is it's about LBJ. He was in Congress. He was in the House of Representatives, but he felt like that has gotten stale, and he wanted to become a senator. So in 1942, he ran. He lost. Boom. So he was just sort of floating around the earth. He was still a representative, but he felt like he wasn't getting any pull. FDR died. Franklin Delano Roosevelt died. He was one of his guys. LBJ. LBJ is a very smooth operator because he played both sides of the fence. His whole goal was to become powerful, to get power. He was about power over money, which is pick one. Power can lead to money. Money can buy you power. It's a whole slippery slope. But today, what I want to discuss to you about is the Senate race 1948. LBJ went up against a guy named Coke Stevenson. It was a very big race. Both the guys, well, Coke Stevenson he was the governor of Texas. He was very popular. He was one of the most popular people in the state of Texas. They had a guy, he had ran for Senate before and beat Lyndon Johnson. This guy was very popular as well. He was called Pappy. His name was Pappy O'Daniel. He was a big figure in the state of Texas. And so LBJ, he was on his last leg. He was like, hey, this is his last shot to become a senator. Because, a lot of times, you and I both know, I can only speak about America, but a lot of times in America, as Americans, we elect somebody to Senate, and until they have to do something really egregious for you to be like, all right, I don't want them to be senator no more, get rid of them. But a lot of times, I know when I was growing up as a kid in Missouri, we had a senator named Kit Bond. Kit Bond, he was every year, every 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, whatever the term was. Kit Bond, write him in. He would win 70, 60, 70, 80% of the vote. Kit Bond every year, every time. So LBJ knew, hey man, if I don't win this time, I'm cooked. Okay, toast. And so LBJ, he had to go up against a popular guy who was former governor, big time name in Texas. So LBJ, you know what this guy did? He spent a lot of money, and we're going to talk about this in market terms. He spent a lot of money securing votes, securing people that could secure him votes. LBJ blew the budget out. Okay, he he bought a he had a helicopter. He was flying around the state of Texas. He was campaigning. He was on the radio. LBJ spent a boatload of money, you know, campaigning just just to get himself into the primary. Because basically, the winner out of him, it's like the winner out of him and Stevenson were gonna be basically they were gonna beat whoever was running against them in the election. They were gonna go on and become senators. Okay, and so this guy he did radio ads. He flew around in a helicopter. He flew around in a private jet. You know, he had a microphone in the private jet. He went to every place in the state of Texas to win this election. Okay, and at the end of the day, he still barely won in a very controversial fashion. I think some people think he might have bought the election. Wink, 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 wink. But he won by 87 votes. So I'm telling you all this to say, when you want to, sometimes it's not. I mean, listen. I know a lot of times we are not going to talk about shoestring budgets around here anymore. Okay, we all know you got to start from somewhere. Okay, we all know that is great. That's cool. Y'all have to start from somewhere. But if you want to keep on, if you want to really build your business, you want to build up anything, you got to spend money. You got to spend money at some point, at some time. You got to spend money. And sometimes it's like I see this thing by Dan Kenny after every email says, "Whoever spends the most to acquire a customer wins." Okay, and that worked in this election for LBJ. That will work for you. Listen, you have a boatload of money and you spend money to acquire a customer. Do that. Sometimes to spend money to draw the attention in, it's a smart play because at the end of the day, people they buy followers, people they buy leads, people they spend money. How are you going to spend your money? Spend your money wisely, but make sure you spend the money. You can't always get everything for free. Okay, it's funny. I had a conversation with my friend. And, he made a very good point, and he said something that you know that I can't forget. He said, "Hey man, people will." He said, 'cause he's trying to open up a piece business, and he said, "Hey, people will come to your house, they will eat your soup, and they say, 'Oh, you make great soup,' but will they come to your restaurant and buy the soup over and over again?" And so, ladies and gentlemen, you want to get customers. Hey, you have a shop. What can I do? Sometimes you got to spend the money. You got to spend the dough. You got to spend the cash. It's just to get to where you want to be. Sometimes you have to spend the money. If you have the money, spend the money. You want to get the publicity. You want to get the attention. You want to get the spotlight on your business. And so how can you do that? Sometimes, you know, going, you know, this is not 2008 where you can just get on YouTube and automatically people are going to just say, "Hey, there are so many jokers on the YouTube now. There are so many people that, hey, how can I stand out? Hey, run an ad, pay for an ad, pay for some radio time, get on the radio, get on somebody's platform, bring in a special guest, do what you have to do to get to further your business down the road." Now, people are always going to say, and you don't want to have this kind of mindset. Well, I shouldn't have to spend a bunch of money. Let's Listen, we are not children. Okay, we're not kids. This is this is the world of adults. You want to make some money. Sometimes you got to spend the cash. It's just the way it is. And so LBJ, he spent the money. He won that primary. He went on to become a senator. He was a senator for the next 12 years. He parlayed that into the vice presidency, and then eventually he became president when John F. Kennedy, tragically died. But he put himself in the position to become a senator by winning the primary election. How did he win the election? Hey, he had to spend a boatload of money, but he did it, and it worked for him. He was able to gain power. He went to the Senate. He became a very powerful figure in the Senate, and it worked out for him. And so you want to make sure that you put yourself in a position where, hey, I want my stuff read. I want my articles read. I want people to see my. You want people to see what you have to offer. So sometimes you have to spend the money. Cold traffic, warm traffic does not matter. Sometimes you have to spend. Whether you want to be a guest on somebody's podcast, or you want somebody to be on a YouTube channel, you have the money to spend the money, because the more customers, the more leads, the more people you can get on your email list, active people on your email list. We want live activity. We don't want the dead. We don't want the cold people. Oh, I don't know. You want people who are going to be responsive to your email. You want people that are going to be responsive to the stuff that you put out. Okay? It is great. It is cool to have a million people on your email list, but it's not cool to have a million dead people on your email list. I mean dead. I mean cold detached. Not active, not opening the email. Because if they don't open the emails, how can you sell them anything if they don't open the email? That's first. How do you bring them in? By any means necessary. Hey, listen. We know a lot of times, people, you know, yeah, I always laugh when I see a clip of Kim Kardashian, and she's telling women they need to get off their bleep and go to work. It's like, how can a girl who got famous, who got super famous from laying on her back, tell somebody to get up and go to work? But her laying on her back and being in a sex tape is the reason why her and her family are super rich. Is it right? Is it wrong? Hey, I wouldn't want them, I wouldn't want my family member to be involved in sex tapes, but whatever. And now they are far past the sex tape. And people come to them for their opinions. Don't ask, but people look at them in a different light, because they have power, they have money, blah, blah, they have fame, blah 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 blah, and you want to be able to have something, power, money, celebrity. You need something to really, because in the beginning is the hardest thing, to fight through it. But once you get semi-famous, once you get power, once you have money to really spend in your business, on your business, that's when it gets the easiest. In the beginning, it's always the most fun. Listen, in the beginning, when is the relationship the greatest? I mean, listen. I love my wife. I enjoy our relationship. We have a great relationship. It'll never be as innocent and as sweet in the beginning. You know what I mean? It's just because it's because you first meet somebody, you don't know what's going on, blah 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 blah. But now we have a more now we have a lovely relationship. But in the beginning, it's cute. It's like, and it's just like running a business. In the beginning, it's cute because you just you just going, you just going. Then eventually, you're gonna get a lot more standards. You're gonna get a lot more people that are gonna say, "Hey, I expect this from you. I expect this. I expect that." Blah blah blah. And that's cool too. But in the beginning, it's always fun. But the goal of any business is to become a legit business, to maintain, to make more money, to gain more influence. To really get yourself out there and be able to sell to people, make as much money as you possibly can, and at the end of the day, have something, to say, hey, I'm making boo boo bucks, okay? And so you have the means, you want to get power, you want to get celebrity, you want to get influence, you want to get money. You gotta have, you gotta get something going to really get your business off the ground. Um, there's, there's 9,000 pizza stores. How's your pizza store gonna stand out? There's, you know, you got Raising Cane's and Zach. How can you sell chicken strips for people? What can you where can you go? How can you sell? How can you tell? You have to remember all that. And sometimes you say, hey, I'm gonna just put ads in front of people. You see it all the time now with DraftKings, FanDuel. You know, those ads pop up on Twitter. Those ads pop up on TV. They pop up on the radio. They pop up everywhere because they want people to what? Yeah. So they have a bunch of money to budget, and you need that. If you have a bunch of money and you can just advertise everywhere, and you can say, hey, sign up for this list, sign up for that list, do that. Okay. The more resources you have, the more influence you have, the better off you will be. That's what you're striving for. That's what you're trying to get to. So you have all the money in the world, spend the money to get customers. You want to know what kind of customers you want. You want the right customers because you want people to come back over and over and over again. It's a lot easier to maintain the customer than it is to do that. So when you do get people into the tent, make sure you keep them in. Make sure you have the ability to keep the majority of them in the tent. Okay? So ladies and gentlemen. And by the way, that's a good book if you ever want to read it. The Path to Power. It's a whole series of books about LBJ. I didn't know much about LBJ until I started listening to those books. He's a very fascinating guy, very, very power hungry guy. It worked out for him. But ladies and gentlemen, that is it. We'll be back tomorrow with all new episode of Online Marketing Move. But until then, my name is Tony Rizzano. Thank you for listening. God bless. Email the show, Tony@TonyRizzano.com. And we'll be back tomorrow with all new episodes. Until then, my name is Tony Rizzano. Thank you for listening. God bless each and every one of you. Always, everybody. Peace.